now, South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem, who might just be a presidential candidate herself. Governor, your thought on what the president said this week?
Well, Brian, I think his video was weird and depressing. You talked earlier in your monologue about him being all in. I'm not sure he's all in. If he's all in, then America needs to wake up, because typically you'd have some excitement around an announcement like that. You'd do some rallies. You'd go out and see people cheering you on and excited to see another 4 years of your leadership. Instead, the rest of the country just kind of went, well, all right then. And then they immediately start thinking, well, what happens if this guy doesn't make it another 4 years? Then the worst alternative would be Kamala in the White House as president. So, I think that they totally missed this announcement. I hope America recognizes that is telling of what another 4 years would be like. And honestly, we've got a lot of opportunity here for Republicans to cast a vision, to talk about what does make America great? What about our foundation keeps us stable, and how we can wrap our arms around it and continue to inspire people?
I just wonder if the people are going to demand the president come out and compete, actually campaign. Is he just going to stay in the White House and send out surrogates? Is he going to use Zuckerbucks in key districts like he did last time to try to deliver those battleground states? In your estimation, with all your years of experience in politics, can that work?
Now, this clearly shows that their whole strategy for this presidential election will just be to destroy everybody else, to burn everybody else to the ground and try to make him an okay person that can stand up there and be manipulated by staff and run by the Democratic Party and be okay with that, because they're going to demonize everybody else in this race. So unfortunately, that's not what America is. America is about a vision. We need a Reagan communicator back that can really talk about what is special about America. And people have to start really voting about how their lives feel. People are suffering in many, many states across this country, in a lot of our largest cities, and it's because of Democrat policies, socialist policies that are coming out of this White House. So I believe before this presidential election that people will wake up to that because of the things that this president is pursuing.
The blueprint was this: hire bring somebody as a running mate who's very talented, and have them take over, have Joe be a placeholder and move on. Word is that if he thought Kamala Harris was ready, he wouldn't be running again. That's just some of the rumors, some called insiders. Yeah. But here's Kamala Harris being Kamala Harris over the last 2 years. Tell me, if you're Joe Biden, if you feel comfortable turning the keys over to her.
For us at every moment in time, and certainly this one, to see the moment in time in which we exist and are present.
South Korea and the United States, as the Secretary has mentioned, also share strong cultural and people-to-people ties, like Squid Games, K-pop bands. They top the billboards in the United States.
That's a little of the ad libs that we have gotten used to. So now the big push is to rehab her. Anita Dunn is out there trying to change her image. And you see some of the headlines now that they think are working. The AP talking about certain stories. Harris faces new test in political skills in 2024. Joe Biden's victory may depend on Kamala Harris's poll numbers, which, by the way, are less than hers. Biden staffers rush to give Kamala Harris a popularity facelift. And now suddenly hear how she loves foreign policy, how she just can't get enough of world events, and how much world leaders are attracted to her, especially when she was at the Munich conference. Do you think the marketing could sell America on Kamala after 2.5 years?
Well, if you're asking me, Brian, I don't think so. Honestly, this woman doesn't have any depth, no knowledge of policy. 99% of my job as governor, and when I served as a member of Congress and the legislature and running businesses, was study, research, work, debate, policy, behind the scenes work. She stands up, gives speeches that somebody else wrote for her, and all of a sudden they expect her to be a person who's wise and has discernment and can come into a situation and make a decision that's best for the American people. She just can't. If anything, she's gotten worse over the last 4 years.
Well,
and now she's all up in her head and nervous and full of anxiety, and she just simply can't function and do the job.
Yeah, and look at Ron Klain. Ron Klain says, for those people who are critical of her, this is what he says is the problem with you. Well, I do think sexism and racism are part of the problem, no question about it. Really? They touch on that again? Are we really sexist and racist if we don't understand what she's saying most of the time?
I think they give out gold stars in the White House if you can say that 10 times a day. If you can refer to racism or sexism 10 times a day, you get a gold star, because it seems like they're just constantly checking that box. The fact of the matter is she's just really bad. And every American, nobody could watch her on TV or listen to her talk and realize she's not putting any work in. She's just talking, and she's uncomfortable because she knows it.
There's no excuse for not hustling, and we're not seeing hustle. Governor, when are you going to decide if you're running?
I'll tell you what, Brian, I don't know if you've heard, but South Dakota has the lowest unemployment rate in the history of the country. And we've got open jobs, businesses here. Our people are thriving, income's going up faster than anywhere else. So think about a state doing that, facing the headwinds that Joe Biden is giving us right now with federal policy. So we're working. I'm focused here in South Dakota, but we'll continue to be an example that people know conservative policies work. All you have to do is point to what we're doing in our state to show that what we believe really helps people and it helps them be more successful.
It's a lot to run on. There's a lot of positives to run on if you decided to run.
Oh.
Governor Noem, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Brian.